Hello, my name is Rocío Torres Moguel. I was born and raised in Mexico City. I did my graduate studies in sustainable development of local communities in Okinawa, Japan. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design, a minor in photography, and a master's in fine arts in museum studies. I worked in conservation of natural protected areas for over 15 years. During this time, I've been very fortunate to find unicorns every once in a while. Here's one example. This is a leatherback turtle. We met in a protected area in the coast of Oaxaca that is guarded by the Mexican Army, given her condition as an endangered species. Being able to meet with one of these stunning creatures is as rare as finding a unicorn. Here, riding with a park ranger at the road that takes you to the pyramid of the Biosphere Reserve of Calakmul in Campeche, we found a young tapir. You can see how funny he walks since the pavement feels weird on his paws. The tapir is also an endangered species in Mexico. And this is Jock. That means black in Soque language. Jock is a 6-year-old black jaguar, one of the most threatened carnivores in America, who lives in a sanctuary in Chiapas that takes care of rescued animals from the Lacandona jungle. I feel I've been blessed by nature with several experiences as unique as this. But being able to encounter these marvelous animals and the amazing places where they live is just part of understanding the context of the different regions that indigenous communities inhabit. Their role is crucial for the conservation of biodiversity. In 2014, I created the Sustainable Business Area at the National Commission for Protected Areas of the federal government in Mexico. My goal was to create a network of indigenous groups that build the basis for the elaboration and sale of sustainable products and the provision of sustainable services, characterized by generating significant income to local communities and participating in the conservation of ecosystems and culture of the protected areas where they live. I designed a tool called Sustainability Index that allowed me and my staff to evaluate productive projects from all the country to identify the success stories and especially the factors that determine their progress or possible failure. The result of these evaluations provided information to assess the projects that presented areas of opportunity. We developed business plans with the active participation of each indigenous group and their objectives to strengthen their productive and governance skills. I set up a network of artists, designers, and business owners interested in collaborating with them to help showcase their products with the right public willing to pay a fair trade price. Once they met the qualifications required by the Sustainability Index, they could obtain the collective seal of the protected area where they live. This shows clients that when they buy their products or hire their services, they contribute to the conservation of endangered species like the leatherback turtle, the tapir, and the jaguar. I've witnessed the leadership of indigenous women firsthand. Their commitment to their projects, their natural resources, and their families is admirable. Projects proposed by women in Mexico are given more points to obtain support from the federal government programs, since the results show that 100% of the income they obtain goes directly to their families. In the case of men, it's around 80% or less. I've been able to accompany many women from the initial design of their projects all the way to being recognized with national awards given the high standards they meet with their products and services. In 2019, I found a perfect place to continue my professional passion to work with and for the communities that live in protected areas. I'm the director of the Colorado River Delta program in Sonoran Institute, and I oversee the work of a wonderful team of 42 people in Mexicali, Baja California. Sonoran Institute is a binational nonprofit that, thanks to the support of donors in the US and Mexico, has been working for more than 30 years in water and ecosystem conservation of the Colorado River Basin. We envision resilient communities living in harmony with the natural world, where flowing rivers and healthy landscapes enable all people and nature to thrive. Our work transcends borders, bringing together diverse communities to promote dialogue about complex conservation issues that know no boundaries. Our work is guided by inclusivity and collaboration to create positive environmental change in the western United States, northwestern Mexico. Running from the Rockies to the Delta, the river covers 7 states in the U.S. and 2 in Mexico, where more than 40 million people rely on its water. The Colorado River Basin is the home to our 3 programs. In the U.S., our work extends through the West thanks to the growing Water Smart program in Arizona and Colorado, where our workshops host elected officials, city planners, and community leaders to set policies that conserve water. The Santa Cruz River program in Arizona focuses on tracking and protecting the health of the Santa Cruz River, which now flows year-round given our efforts with other local organizations. The Colorado River flowed freely from the Rockies to the sea until the dams were built to divert its flows. Cities grow with little planning. In 1944, when the U.S. and Mexico signed the International Water Treaty, the ecosystem was not considered as a water user in Mexico, meaning all the rivers' water that flowed into the country was destined to cities, farmers, and industry. The impact 20 years later was that 80% of the native ecosystem was gone. The Colorado River Delta program encompasses 4 projects. 1. The Mexicali Fluye project, where we clean and rehabilitate the agricultural drains and turn them from open-air wastelands into healthy and greener public urban wetlands. 2. The Arenitas Artificial Wetland project treats 50% of the water of the city of Mexicali and has the purpose of improving the water quality and increasing the habitat for resident and migratory birds. Also, half of the treated water flows back into the Hardy River, a tributary of the Colorado, increasing its flow. 3. The Upper Estuary project, where we restore by dredging old river channels and incrementing fresh water flow to maintain the connection between the Colorado River and the Gulf of California. And 4. The Laguna Grande project. We've restored more than 700 acres in this site with approximately 200,000 native cottonwoods, willows, and mesquites in 10 years, making this area the largest and densest riparian forest along the region and home to more than 160 bird species and endangered mammals in Mexico like the beaver. Our field staff from the local communities that live along the Colorado River take care of our nursery. They produce almost 40,000 plants a year for our restoration sites. The field supervisor is Celia Alvarado, who has been working with Sonoran Institute for almost 14 years and has become an expert bird guide in the region. We have a very successful environmental education program. More than 15,000 people have participated in our activities in the past 6 years. From students to families, local communities learn about the Colorado River through in-school presentations or guided field trips to our restoration sites. We launched the first free online introduction course to the Delta at the beginning of this year, and more than 500 students have already concluded it. Sonoran Institute has worked since the beginning of the program in restoration and ecotourism projects with the Kukapa, the people of the river, the only indigenous community established at the Colorado River Delta. Their livelihood depended on the river, on fishing as their main activity to generate an income. Inocencia Gonzalez, one of their leaders, was born when the river had water, but as she grew up, she saw the river disappear. This summer, thanks to the Minute 323, the binational agreement signed between the U.S. and Mexico, and due to the work of Sonoran Institute with other organizations of the Raise the River Alliance, the releases of water, designed to mimic the river's natural spring flows, began in May and will extend through early October. Inocencia didn't believe her daughter Antonia when she told her that the Colorado River had water again in June. Even though Inocencia had been sick for a while, she visited the river, which brought her much happiness and memories of her childhood. Inocencia passed away the last week of June. She saw her river with water again one last time, the week of full moon when the Colorado River finally met the sea of the upper Gulf of California. The unique project of Planet Woman presents an historic opportunity to Antonia with the possibility to see from the sky the Colorado River flow to the sea. I'd like to share with you an interview with Antonia of May of this year.
Mi nombre es Antonia Torres González, Soy indígena Cucapá y soy promotor cultural de la etnia Cucapá. Desde 1979 promuevo la cultura y hoy en día tengo 22 años ya trabajando bien en el Museo Comunitario Cucapá. Doy talleres de artesanía y también soy cocinero tradicional. También manejo el grupo de canto y danza de los niños Cucapá y jóvenes. Así promuevo la cultura y rescato un poco de lo que es nuestra cultura. Pues yo como hija de Inocencia pues valoro mucho lo que ella me ha enseñado. He valorado lo que significa para nosotros ser indígenas. Pues mi mamá Inocencia pues ha sido una parte importante en mi vida, porque yo crecí en el río. Entonces a mí me tocó ver los momentos más cuando el río estaba en su pues lleno, que no teníamos ningún problema. Pensaba yo que pues jamás nos iba a hacer falta el agua del río, ¿verdad? He visto, como les digo, vi el río morir, ¿verdad? Y es muy triste para mí. Hablo del río y pues lloro siempre. Sí. Es imposible para mí no hacerlo porque pues es parte de lo que me han enseñado a amar esto. Entonces sí es triste para mí. Bueno, pero ahora estoy contenta. Me da alegría. Hablé con mi mamá acerca de que estaba llegando agua y le enseñé videos. Pues se levantó de donde estaba, bien emocionada. Sí, se emocionó bastante. Entonces yo sabía que era una buena noticia para ella. Pues ayer venía todavía incrédula porque dijo que no creía que había agua. No, pues para mi mamá creo que es todo. Es todo en su vida, es lo único que ha estado esperando por muchos años. Y que le hace darle vida también a ella, pues, en pensar, ¿verdad?, de que el agua regresa. Pues lo único que puedo decir es que cuiden lo que tenemos hoy y que después no vamos a lamentarnos de nuevamente, ¿verdad?, de lo que he lamentado por muchos años. Yo ya casi 30 años puedo decir que ha pasado de que el río dejó de fluir, entonces, y que ahora pues ha tomado nuevamente vida y que lo debemos de cuidar.